Let's take a couple.
What do we got?
All right, here we got one coming in from Jeffrey, who says, hello, super pair of the Beastly Castle. I'm an avid player of Gundam Battle Operation 2. Recently, we had an odd sequence of balance changes where a particular mobile suit came through the game, the GM Sniper 2 White Dingo. Have you ever had a game where the dev buffed something with good intentions, but it actually wound up making it a nerf?
Pretty rarely.
GM Sniper 2 WD has a beam rifle as its main weapon, and it makes you stop in place to charge and fire it. The way most people who are good with the suit would play is with quick uncharged shots in close range to stagger someone and then keep them locked in a chain stagger between uncharged rifle shots and melee swings.
Sure,
The
that makes sense.
devs decided that people were not charging the rifle enough, so they decided to allow players to charge the rifle while moving and then only have to stop in place when actually firing. While this did make people start charging more often, it changed the timing of when the firing shot came out, forcing you to stand in place. They were not as efficient as the two uncharged shots, so as a result, it made aiming incredibly difficult with the rifle, and the change was so bad that it significantly tanked the win rate for the entire suit, so they ran it back 2 months later.
I will say the easiest way to see if a buff can damage a character is any game with bans. So all the MOBers, if you buff a player, so if you buff a unit and you allow people to ban that unit, occasionally you can get into weird situations where heroes have like 99% ban rates. In which
Interesting.
they're functionally nerfed out of the game.
Nobody wants to deal with this ever. It's gone. Yeah.
There was some, I forget what it was, but there was some hero in League that was like completely broken for like 2.5 years, to the point where people just removed it themselves.
Interesting.
You're not gonna play it.
I have my favorite example, and it's go-to, but it was intentional. When
Yes, it did. That was it.
When Marvel 3 first came out, a really good team was anyone with Akuma and Wolverine together. Justin Wong would play this team, and basically Jay Wong invented the tech of doing Akuma's Tatsu as an assist, and then with Wolverine, he has a cross-up slash move. So he runs past you. So he either runs up to you and slashes you in the front, or he runs past you and slashes you in the back, right?
Yeah, so you do Akuma's Tatsu, and then they meet and they cross you up and they fuck
Right.
you up,
So
right?
while you're either blocking or getting hit by the Tatsu, Wolverine is running up to you, and you don't know which side he's going to hit you from. And the Tatsu hits you not fast enough. It's like hit, hit, hit. So it's staggered enough that there's a point that it's not a combo, but the hit that he does with the slash will be a 50-50, you know?
Right.
It's a fucking amazing, really hard to block setup, right? It's great. So what would happen, though, is you had to be really good once you landed the hit with confirming into the rest of his combo, launching, and then doing your whole thing. A lot of people who played Wolverine were not that good, and so they would do the cross-up attack and then just mash the button until it connected, and then go, okay, it's hitting, and then like on the third or second one, they'd be like, okay, now I'm going to convert into a full combo. So it essentially gave you like a mix-up, and then you didn't have to have the timing. You could just mash that button out. So when they made Ultimate Marvel 3, they added a new move to Wolverine's arsenal called Swiss Cheese. And what it is Wolverine does a 100 hand slap, like Honda, by doing a bunch of stabs with his claws, and the input is mash attack to get that button out.
There you go. That's great.
So, brand new move.
That's
hey,
great.
cool, right? His arsenal has increased. He's got a new move in his kit, guys.
That's
Why?
great.
Don't worry about it. The first time someone picks Wolverine and tries to do the cross-up and then just starts mashing, they do this fucking shitty 100 hand slap and don't get that combo anymore because you have to tighten up your timing.
That's great. That's great.
Fantastic, right? A nerf in the form of a buff. It's awesome.
You really gotta fuck it up to do that by accident, though.
If you mash more than 3 times.
No. I mean to have like the white dingo example is like they did not intend to nerf them. That was
Yes.
supposed to be a buff.
Yes. For sure.
Honestly, oftentimes I feel like buffs that actually lead to nerfs in a general case is when the dev goes, well, people are winning with this character by playing them like this, but what we really want is them to play them like that.
That.
And then that is technically numerically superior, but is actually much worse.
Yeah, yeah. They also exactly. That's another great example. Recently, is Dan had an infinite in 5 when he first came out with Godokin,
Yeah.
and by making it so that there's a chance that one of the Godokins will be strong enough to cause a knockdown.
Yeah.
It's a better fireball, but it means your infinite's going to stop at some point, right?
That's smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
Make people feel like they gained a tool, but that tool's application stops the thing from, being abusable. Okay, let's take one over here.
Oh, you know what? I got one for you.
Mm,
I got one for you. Fucking Ember in Warframe got buffed into uselessness. So
okay.
in Warframe, you have a lot of frames that have abilities that are just mass guaranteed AOE's they're gonna hit. So Equinox has it, Saren has it, stuff where it's just like 100 feet from your character, right? They're going to be hit with spores, electricity, ambient damage, etc. And with Ember, it's obviously fire, right? So Ember is going to cast her 4, which is a firestorm that goes in every direction, and every enemy within X amount of feet will catch on fire, right? So they were unhappy with how brain dead Ember's kit was, and they wanted to improve Ember's kit by changing some of her abilities to interact a little bit more with each other and do different kinds of damage. And because prior to that, her 4 was the only button that was worth it. All her other abilities were complete trash, and her ability didn't scale well, and it was kind of a gimmick. Well, they redid her whole kit, and they're like, wow, it's way better. Except now her 4 doesn't stun enemies when they catch on fire. So she went from being kind of nichely useful to completely useless. Because the only thing that she had going for her at all
Was that
is suddenly gone.
okay? Huh.
Because if you're doing this with damage, why wouldn't you just use Equinox, who's doing percentile damage? Or Saren, which has a stacking damage buff. Now, I'm sure this has changed recently because people are pointing out that they redid the way elements worked. But upon her kit rework, she went from, oh, this is a niche character that some people really like, to why bother picking this character at all ever? Including people that were big fans of it because they liked how the fact that she stunned people automatically gave them like more breathing room to shoot people, and all of a sudden they couldn't play their character at all the way they wanted to. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Warframe is frustrating.
Well, if you have a single purpose character, you have to identify that when you're doing this type of shit.
Well, the problem with Warframe is they have so many frames, and so many of them have ability overlap, and you run into the situation of like, but Saren is just Ember, but better in every way.
Okay.
And then they changed Saren's kit completely, and Saren was even better Ember in every way. Right? And it's like, okay, what are you going to do? I don't know.